How many people do you know who would risk their life for a dog they don't even own? What would you do in such a situation? Would you think, I have a child to raise, a sibling to take care of, and walk away? Marcus Rodriguez never had time for those thoughts. When he heard the desperate cries coming from inside the burning house, he didn't know the dog's owner. He didn't calculate the risks. He just knew a life needed saving. But when he emerged from the flames, carrying the unconscious animal in his arms, the man watching him from across the street would change everything. Because that dog's owner was the one person who could save Marcus's dying sister. And after witnessing Marcus's courage, he was about to make an offer that would turn tragedy into miracle. If you believe that true courage reveals itself in the moments when no one is watching, please subscribe to our channel. Help us share stories that prove compassion has the power to change everything. Marcus Rodriguez woke up at 5 a.m. that Tuesday, same as every morning for the past 8 years. His construction boots were by the door, his hard hat hung on the same hook, and his lunch was packed in the same metal box his father had used decades before. But this morning felt different. Heavy. His sister Sophia had been worse the night before, her breathing more labored, her color more pale. At 28, Marcus was the sole provider for his family. Their parents had died in a car accident when Sophia was just 16, leaving Marcus to raise her while working construction jobs to keep them afloat. For 12 years, they'd managed. Until Sophia got sick. The doctors called it a rare genetic condition that was rapidly destroying her lungs. Without a transplant, she had months, maybe weeks. With it, she could live a normal life. The surgery would cost $200,000. Marcus had saved exactly $3,400. That morning, before heading to the construction site, Marcus stopped by Riverside General Hospital. It was his third visit that week, hoping someone might have found a way to help Sophia without the impossible upfront payment. The hospital administrator, Mr. Peterson, emerged from his office looking tired and apologetic. Marcus, I've spoken with Dr. Hamilton again. Without insurance or the ability to pay up front, we simply can't schedule the surgery. I'm sorry, but that's hospital policy. The construction site was a new residential development on the east side of town. Expensive homes for wealthy families, the kind of neighborhood Marcus would never afford to live in. He spent his morning pouring concrete foundations, the physical work helping him forget, temporarily, the weight of his sister's condition. Around 2 p.m., Marcus was taking a water break when he heard shouting from across the street. A house was on fire. Black smoke poured from the windows, and flames licked at the roof. The fire department hadn't arrived yet. A small crowd had gathered on the sidewalk, phones out, recording the destruction. Marcus could hear someone yelling that the family wasn't home. But then came another sound that made Marcus drop his water bottle and start running. It was the desperate, terrified crying of a dog trapped inside. Marcus didn't think about his job, his safety, or his sister who needed him alive. He just ran toward the burning house. The front door was locked, so he grabbed a piece of construction lumber and smashed through a window. The heat hit him like a wall, and smoke immediately filled his lungs. But somewhere in that house, an animal was dying. He crawled through the smoke-filled rooms, following the sound of barking that was growing weaker by the second. In what appeared to be a bedroom, he found a golden retriever collapsed near a window, overcome by smoke inhalation. The dog was unconscious but still breathing. Marcus scooped the animal into his arms and stumbled back toward the window he'd broken. By the time he emerged, the fire department was arriving, and a larger crowd had gathered. Marcus laid the dog on the grass and began administering CPR, something he'd learned years ago when Sophia had briefly stopped breathing during one of her episodes. After several terrifying minutes, the dog coughed, opened its eyes, and began breathing normally. That's when Marcus noticed him. Standing apart from the crowd was a man in an expensive suit, his face streaked with tears. He was older, maybe in his 50s, with silver hair and the kind of bearing that suggested authority. When the man approached, Marcus recognized him immediately. It was Dr. Jonathan Hamilton, the chief of surgery at Riverside General Hospital. The same Dr. Hamilton who had been unable to help Sophia. Dr. Hamilton knelt beside the dog, his hands shaking as he checked the animal's pulse. "This is Max," he said quietly. "He's been my companion for 8 years. My wife died of cancer 2 years ago. Max is all I have left." Marcus didn't know what to say. He just nodded and continued stroking the dog's fur. "You saved his life," Dr. Hamilton continued, his voice thick with emotion. You risked everything for a dog you'd never met. Why? Marcus looked at the doctor, then at Max, who was now alert and trying to stand. Because he needed help, Marcus said simply. That's what you do when someone needs help. Dr. Hamilton studied Marcus for a long moment. I know you, he said finally. You're Sofia Rodriguez's brother. You've been coming to the hospital. Marcus's stomach tightened. He nodded. Dr. Hamilton's expression changed completely. Mr. Rodriguez, I'd like to speak with you privately. Can you meet me at my office tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.? Marcus spent that night awake, holding Sophia's hand as she slept fitfully in their small apartment. He couldn't stop thinking about Dr. Hamilton's request. What could the chief of surgery possibly want to discuss? The next morning, Marcus arrived at Riverside General wearing his only dress shirt and his father's old tie. Dr. Hamilton's office was impressive, filled with medical degrees and awards. Mr. Rodriguez, Dr. Hamilton began, yesterday you did something extraordinary. You risked your life for a stranger's pet without expecting anything in return. You demonstrated the kind of character that's becoming increasingly rare. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. I just did what anyone would do. Dr. Hamilton shook his head. No, you didn't. I watched that crowd for 10 minutes before you arrived. Dozens of people saw Max trapped in that house. You were the only one who acted. He paused, gathering his thoughts. I've been practicing medicine for 30 years. I've seen courage in operating rooms, but what you showed yesterday was different. It was pure compassion. Dr. Hamilton opened a file on his desk. Your sister needs a lung transplant. I've been reviewing her case extensively since yesterday. She's a perfect candidate for a procedure we've been developing with Johns Hopkins. It's experimental, but her chances of success are excellent. Marcus's heart began pounding. Doctor, I appreciate your time, but as you know, we can't afford the surgery. Dr. Hamilton held up his hand. Yesterday, you gave me back the most important thing in my life. Max isn't just a pet, Mr. Rodriguez. He's my family. When my wife was dying, he never left her side. After she passed, he was the only reason I got out of bed each morning. The doctor stood and walked to his window. I've been thinking about starting a foundation. Something to help families like yours, people who demonstrate the kind of character that makes the world better. He turned back to Marcus. I'd like Sophia to be our first recipient. Marcus couldn't speak. His throat had closed completely, and tears were streaming down his face. Dr. Hamilton continued, your sister's surgery will be fully funded. We'll also provide all post-operative care and medications. But I have one condition. I want you to work with me to build this foundation. Help me identify other families who need help. Your salary would be enough to support your family comfortably. 6 months later, Marcus stood in Sophia's hospital room, watching his sister breathe easily for the first time in 2 years. The transplant had been a complete success. Sophia was planning to return to college in the fall to study veterinary medicine. She wanted to help animals the way Marcus had helped Max. The Hamilton Foundation for Compassionate Care had already helped 12 families access life-saving medical treatments. Marcus had discovered he had a talent for identifying people whose circumstances had put critical care out of reach, but whose character made them deserving of help. As they walked toward a board meeting, Dr. Hamilton placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. You know, that day at the fire changed both our lives. Marcus smiled. Sometimes one moment of courage creates ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. Max, now fully recovered and serving as the Foundation's unofficial therapy dog, trotted alongside them, his tail wagging. Some said the dog seemed to understand that his rescue had sparked something much larger than anyone could have imagined. If this story moves you, if you believe that true courage is revealed in moments when no one is watching, please like this video and share it with others. Subscribe to support more stories that celebrate everyday heroes whose quiet acts of bravery change the world. Because sometimes the life you save might just save you in return.